Hi everyone, for today's review we'll be looking at the BeastWars Transmetal 2 Dinobot, and this is one of the figures that was released last in the wave. And as you can see, this is like an ugly creature that either they let the toy designers go crazy or the animation studio behind it. It has a unique traits to it, but also keeping it unique, making it like a Dinobot figure. I think when I first got this figure, I just because I remember looking at Walmart and looking at the figures. I think when the Transmetal 2 line was released back in the day, so that's how long I've been a Transformers fan, like around 1999. I think that's when the last wave was released, around that time when the series was ending. So I didn't think much about it because I do remember thinking like Dinobot 2, but I wasn't sure if this was gonna make it in the toy. I thought it was one of those Beast Wars toys that they just have to produce and in order to just give retailers some toys. So I didn't think much of it until I saw this version on the show that I wanted to get the toy. But this is the dino mode. As you can see, it's not your standard dinosaur that you're used to seeing. So in order for Takara or Hasbro to reduce Kibo, they use his feet as the dino hand. So it's pretty much here. So it does have some balancing issues depending on how much wear your figure has. It may lean back or forward. So I think I was able to balance it due to the weight of the tail. But yeah, like over time, just being on a ball joint, they wear out, and either the weight balancing wears her out more. So yeah, there's gonna be some balancing issues if you're not familiar with this figure. And this is one of the things that the Transmetal 2 line had, a unique feature is just display their spark, and it will show their allegiance. And this version of Dinobot was like a clone of the original one, so he was a Predacon. So hopefully you're able to see the Predacon insignia right there. And he's also fading from the typical chrome paint, so you got to remember this were meant to only last probably about 5 years as action figures. So this figure's probably going on 20 years plus, so it is understandable. Yeah, not much articulation in dino mode besides it can open and close its mouth. And I don't know about the little mouth right there. I don't know if that was like an homage to aliens. Honestly, I to this day I don't know what's the purpose of it. If somebody knows, let me know, or just happen to be there. Yeah, like the dino hands, I mean, they're not supposed to be moved. I mean, they're just there. I mean, due to this wire, you cannot even get much articulation from it, from the claw. So yeah, and the legs, as I mentioned, not much articulation either. The tail does have this feature where you can push this lever here. So that's kind of cool. But as for transformation and robot mode, it's pretty simple as well. So you move this up, then flip the head. Alright. So for the legs, you can either move them down first, too. And then I think the head, you're able to push it out, the dino head, a little bit up. So that becomes a chest. And now the dino legs, you move them up, then tap here, do the same to the other side. Now then move this up, becomes the back. So this You push them up, they become the shoulder pads. Or I guess I forgot these little sections here. So sometimes it's better to push up or push the shoulders out of the way. Gotta be careful with this little part. Sometimes you can scratch the chrome, whatever you have left. I think this is supposed to move up. There we go. So until you hide it, and then rotate the arms at the elbow. This one was already rotated. So now basically rotate his fingers or claws, and pretty much this is the Dino mode. So at least compared to his season 1 version of the toy, this one at least it did look like Dinobot. So that was a plus there, that because I know that season 1 toys were really bad at not looking at like the versions of their models on the show. So but as for articulation, now in the robot mode, he does have plenty, but he suffers from the weight issues. So the arm rotates at the elbow. Same over here. The legs, he does have knee articulation. You're able to move the legs if you don't want them just straining up in a straight position. So for the legs, you're able to move them too, but no ankle articulation. And some claw articulation too, so you're able to move this too. There's a little bit of articulation here as well, so you're able to pose it either like this or like this, so whichever is your preference. And I think the instructions also mentioned you're able to remove his tail and just kind of clip it here, but he never used this option in the show, so I guess it's more like a tribute to his season 1 show where his tail did become a weapon, but over here it's just impossible to move around. And the reason too that I decided to review this figure too, I think Transart is also coming up with their own version, so I'm excited about that because I know that this one was released in the deluxe class, so he's severely undersized. But yeah, if you're thinking about getting this for your collection right now, it should average around $20 to $30, so it's not too bad. It's pretty much just the standard price of a deluxe nowadays. Just be aware, either unless you get a brand new, the version, if you bought it open, is probably going to have issues with the chrome, with the paint scratching up and everything. And yeah, just be ready because the joints are going to be loose. Even if you buy a brand new, they're probably going to be loose in like 6 months. So it's just, unfortunately, since this figure's in a ball and socket, so and it has to deal with the weight, so that's one of the downsides of this figure. But overall, if you're just thinking of getting it for your vintage BeastWars collection, I highly recommend this figure. And let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching. Ready?